Hi, my name is Neil O'Connor and Professor and Head of Department of Accounting. I will be teaching this unit, ACW3220, with Dr. Pushpa. I'm so excited to welcome you to this unit, one of the best in the accounting major, by the way. Don't tell anyone else that though. Anyway, I'm so excited about this unit because I teach one aspect of that unit, especially chapter 12, another chapter which really focuses on the balance scorecard and strategy, and we actually bring that into a 30% project where you'll be actually working with real companies and you actually do a videoed presentation as part of your assessment. So let's just have a quick look at areas that I will be covering in this semester. You will actually see me officially in week 7 and week 8, where I'll introduce to you the strategy, the balance scorecard, and also about quality in week 8. Now, these are chapter 12 and chapter 19, and they actually form the basis of the information that you really need to finish the project. But in week 2, I'll come in and deliver a workshop to help you get started on the project. And what I want to do in the next 5 minutes is just briefly just give you an overview of what this project is about. And I think many of you will want to get started even before week 7. And so let's have a look at what it really looks like. So in week 2, there's going to be introduction of this project. It's a 30% project you have to do, 30% assessment value. In week 4, your groups will have been assigned and it's going to be randomized, so there'll be no special interests or anything like that. Everyone will get a random membership of a group with other people. We want diversity, we want opportunity for you to actually reach out and actually meet more people than your comfort circle that you're currently with. In week 5 and week 6, you can watch the factory audit videos, which forms the core content that you need to work on for this project. And in week 7 and 8, that's where I start teaching formally out of the textbook for the unit. And in week 9, you'll finalize the report, finalize your presentation, and then you'll submit that in week 10. So that's very briefly how that will run. And basically the rules of engagement, and we'll go over this again in week 2 in the workshop, but for now in week 2 I'll tell you about the report, how you can access the factory videos. Well, actually you can access them already because they're in Moodle, but also the link to them are in Moodle, but also they're in my Tech Asia YouTube channel, which you can go even today and have a look at the videos that I have on visits in China, visits to suppliers, and videos of various factories. I'm going to talk about how you can actually use the factory videos to gain understanding of how a company's operations that you see can be connected to the strategy of a company. And then I'm going to talk about how you can make the most of your assessment. That is, how can you score well in the report task and the presentation task. In week 7, we talk about strategy maps and the balance scorecard. As I said, that forms the core theory framing of your project, whereas the factory videos is the actual content that you watch and get to know the real world business operations. So there are various rules we'll go through in week 2. Basically, the due date is 14th of May, which is in week 10, and basically the report covers 6 pages. It's not about the maximum number of words, and I'm looking for a customer preference map on page 2, a business comparison on page 1, a strategy map on page 3, and a table of measures on page 4, and then some explanation of a story on page 5 and references on page 6. As you can tell by what we're looking for is that we are defining the boundaries of this report in terms of various diagrams, figures and tables, and not defining in terms of the maximum number of words that you have to write, okay, because this needs to be a value producing report that we could actually give to a manager of a company to understand what is going on and suggestions for improvement. Wow. And so there's obvious assessment rules. We'll spend more in week 2. We're going to spend a little bit more time in week 2 in talking about the video presentation, how you can do very, very well and make a successful video presentation file. And the question may be, well, what are some of the assessment samples? What do they look like? Neil, you talked about figures, you talked about comparison tables, you talked about strategy map, you talked about tables. What do you mean by this? Well, some of the examples of what students have done in the past, like page 1 and 2 is like a customer preference map, or page 3 and 4, we have a strategy map here plus tables, which would be a table 4 item. We have a strategy map here, which is a page 3 item table on just above me, which is a page 4 item. And notice behind me, that strategy map is the same strategy map, but the students use that in page 5 to actually emphasize a particular story of linkages between learning, growth, operations, the customer, and the financial outcomes of the organization. Another example of page 4. So you'd see that there are plenty of examples that we're going to show you in week 2. And you're probably thinking, okay, what have students felt about doing this project in the past? Well, as you can see, they're very, very happy, and there are more happy students. And student feedback, the assignment of interviewing businesses. Now, you're not going to get to interview a business face to face this year because of everything's being done online, but we're going to give you access to real live factory videos, and you actually go online and actually see the web pages of these factories to get more information of these factories. So we're going to try and make it as real as possible as it gets in the online environment. And you can see that the students saying it's totally different from what I've done in the past, as we've never stepped out of the school for an assignment. Thanks for the opportunity. It's an opportunity to engage with merchants, the assignment which we get to interview the owner of a company, of a business. And so you may not get the opportunity to do a direct interview with an owner of a company this semester, but we're going to give you something that is as real as it gets. These are real companies operating today. Okay, so what else? More happy students. More happy students, very happy in their presenting. Of course, this was in 2018-19 when the students were presenting in the class. Now, unfortunately, the university is closed, so you cannot do this in class. You will produce a presentation video instead. And so basically, we just want to welcome you again to this unit. It's the best one, yes. All right, you'll find out anyway as we go through this. It's about creating value. That's what strategic management accounting is about. Welcome again from Professor Neil here and Dr. Pushpa. We'll see you in the class. Bye for now.